Hello everyone, this is Star Wars fan Rogue One, and today we are going to be ranking the Skywalker saga. So basically all the 9 movies, since the Rise of Skywalker's come out. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so before we begin ranking these, I just want to say this is my opinion, and I've seen all the movies, and so this is my opinion, and so you don't have to, take it personally. There's actually going to be a little bit of a twist with this one at the end when I rank all these, and at the end there's going to be something called a trilogy round, where basically we rank all the trilogies. So the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy. Without further ado, let's begin. Alright, coming in at number 9, we have The Last Jedi. This is by far the worst movie in the saga, in my opinion. The way they portrayed Luke in this movie was not okay. Luke should have been better and more of a good guy. In this one, he just felt more like a character that was just pushed aside, basically. I like this film. It's just there's a lot of problems with this film. The Canto Bite scene. Don't even get me started on Rose. And the way Kylo Ren's character is portrayed in here is just not a good way for a new character to be portrayed in a sequel. So that is why it is at number 9. Alright, coming at number 8, and I know a lot of you guys out there will pretty much cuss at me for this, but Empire Strikes Back, I mean, I like it, but it's the boringest of the entire original trilogy. It's the weakest.
Look, I'm sorry that I have been anonymous for a bit, but now I actually got to start talking about why this film was so bad. And I know that I should have just remained as director, but I need to get this out. Episode 5 is a movie that is supposedly considered as the best sequel by many people. I don't know why that is the case, actually, because when I've seen this film as a kid, I could not believe what exactly I was watching. I get what they were going for with the whole battle with the frickin', the AT-AT with the cow walkers, and then how the characters were portrayed in this. I understand that, but I can tell you much that this wasn't executed correctly. I don't know how this is blowing so many people away. First off, the acting, it just felt like as though they were mostly focused on it's like as though it was too rushed. They were rushing into action, but not really rushing into action at the same time. It felt like as though they already knew exactly who they are and what they're talking about. There was no real explanation of how they even got to there in the first place. I mean, that goes to show Episode 8 had the same problem. But to be honest, Episode 8 kind of executed that better. I'm just going to point that out. Another thing, too, is how they split up the characters and showed what they were doing. I get it, Episode 8 had the same problem, but let me tell you, at least Episode 8 had better perspective. It showed an actual perspective of how Episode 8, say the parts with Finn and Rose and BB-8, it portrayed that part of the story better. Yet, in this part where it just showed Luke training as a young Jedi with Yoda, and then just as Han Solo, Lando, and then they're all dealing with stuff in Bespin. I mean, what? They didn't... I mean, yeah, it's an old movie, but the problem with this movie is that it just wasn't really executed well.
And that's why it is at number 8.
It should have just been better.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the only time I'm ever going to talk. I'll see you guys later.
Alright, coming at number 7, I have Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Don't get me wrong, this movie is excellent. It feels like a reboot of A New Hope. I do like how they portrayed Kylo in this, better than they did with The Last Jedi. A lot of the new characters I love. Rey, Poe, and Finn. But yeah, it just feels like a rematch of New Hope, and I kind of like that. I mean, it shows that J.J. Abrams was trying his hardest to make a good Star Wars film, and I salute him for that. So good job. And that's why I have it at number 7. Alright, coming in at number 6, we have Attack of the Clones. This movie used to be my least favorite Star Wars movie, but I rewatched it recently, and compared to all the other movies to come out, considering The Last Jedi, it's surprisingly better than The Last Jedi, I would say, and The Force Awakens and Empire Strikes Back, of course. But yeah, I just feel like, I mean, sure, you would argue that the dialogue is terrible and the acting is terrible and the action is terrible, but honestly, compared to some of the movies that Disney has made of Star Wars, it is surprisingly better. And the reason I say that is because it's still George Lucas. And with that said, that's why it's number 6. Alright, coming in at number 5, we have Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This movie, I feel like, is one of the best prequels. I mean, it's better than Episode 2. Yeah, it's better than Episode 2, and, I don't know, you could argue that it's terrible because of Jar Jar, but honestly, he's not that bad. The lightsaber at the end of the entire movie is awesome, and, yeah, the way Anakin is portrayed in this movie is excellent. You gotta give the kid a slack. I mean, he was young as an actor, so it wasn't as flawless as you would say, but anyway, that's why it's number 5. Alright, coming at number 4, we have A New Hope. This movie is great. For being the very first Star Wars movie, is excellent. The way the way Luke Skywalker is portrayed by a character is excellent. The way they introduce the main characters is excellent. And it just makes Darth Vader a mysterious character before we know he's Anakin Skywalker, but we all know that. But if you didn't know that when you first saw the movie, then it just creates this mysterious character of Darth Vader, and that's what I love about it. And it just creates this world that you didn't really expect. Or a lot of people that saw it in 1977 would say that, but if you've been through the movies and stuff, and you know Darth Vader's Anakin, then it doesn't really create that. But if you just pretend that Anakin and Darth Vader are not even the same characters, then it just creates that mysterious percentage for Darth Vader. So that's why it is number 4. Coming at number 3, we have Return of the Jedi, which is my favorite original trilogy movie and the best of the original trilogy, in my opinion. The way this movie is, it's excellent. There's a few things in there that I don't like all that much, but I'm not going to say them. So, but yeah, the way it was portrayed was okay. It's still a little confusing why the Ewoks beat the Empire at the end, but that's understandable. Yeah, the way they redeemed Anakin in this movie, or Darth Vader in this movie, back into Anakin, and it just creates a happiness knowing that the evil that we saw in A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back is defeated, and it just creates this happy moment that Star Wars fans can share. And that's why it is number 3. Alright, coming in at number 2, we have The Rise of Skywalker. And this film was good to end off the sequel trilogy, but in my opinion, it wasn't a good way to complete the saga, like, end the saga, basically. Alright, it was a good film. I feel like it ended Kylo's and Rey's arc perfectly. And, yeah, that's why it is number 2. Alright, coming in number 1, we have Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is by far the best movie of the franchise, in my opinion. I love how it explains Anakin's fall and leading up to the original trilogy. So basically, this is like the movie that like brought the original 6 films together and the original Skywalker saga to a close before we got any of the sequels. So yeah, that is why it's number 1, because it basically brought the whole 6 films together and it just explained Anakin's arc very well into Darth Vader, and that's why it is number 1. Alright, now it's time for the trilogy round. Basically what this is we're going to take all the movies of the trilogy and basically rank them. So we're going to do the original trilogy first, the prequel trilogy, or not the prequel, yeah, the prequel trilogy, and then the sequel trilogy. Alright, we're now doing the original trilogy. Alright, at last place of the original trilogy, we have The Empire Strikes Back. And I don't have to say that much because I already said what I needed to say when I ranked it among the other movies. Next is A New Hope. Not really much to say there either. And then the best of the trilogy, the Return of the Jedi. Alright, hold on. Alright. Next is the prequel trilogy.
Do it. Do it. Now we're Palpatine. Do it.
Last place we have Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I mean, it's not a terrible film, but compared to the other entries of the prequels, it's kind of lacking. Next we have the Phantom Menace. It's just better. It's just better than the Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Yeah, and base of story, and has better dialogue than Episode 2. And then we have Episode 3, because in my opinion, it's the best film of the prequel trilogy, and that's why it is number 1 of the prequel trilogy.
Hold up.
Alright, next is the sequel trilogy.
You're ravenous.
Last we have The Last Jedi. This is the worst movie of the saga and the trilogy. In case of story-wise and basically plot. There's a lot of things wrong with this movie, but I already said all of them. Next is The Force Awakens. Yeah, basically I just said it was pretty much a familiar take on the movie, like Star Wars movies, because it felt like A New Hope, but it felt like a brand new story. And number 1 of the sequel trilogy is The Rise of Skywalker. This movie is awesome. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I do have a lot of problems with it, but it's a good way to end the trilogy, but in my opinion, not a good way to end the saga, because it leaves a lot of things open. They might explain it later down the road, but that's just my opinion. Hi guys, this is Star31. Thank you so much for watching my ranking video. I hope you guys liked it. Make sure you guys comment down below and like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.